Reversing a psychic attack. Is it possible to do this? And if so, what are the ethics involved in it? How can you do it? All of the things. Reversing a psychic attack might have been coming up for a few people. And I know I talked about this on my other social media. So this is the longer video in regards to it because some people seemed quite interested in it. Now, psychic attacks may have been coming up for quite a few people right now. As I always like to say, the astral realm is nothing like what it was before, especially before 2020 and on. And every year, the chaos in it seems to be getting worse and worse. It's a true clown show every time I tap into that. For some reason lately, I'm getting a lot of parasitic energy even. And I might discuss that in a future video because the parasitic energy is actually also coming through a lot in the physical world, meaning if you're seeing more parasites or more of those insects, that you maybe have not been seeing before as much, there is a reason to that. It's because whatever is mirrored in that non-physical energetic world is coming through in our physical world. A topic that is related to this one is the one of reversing psychic attacks. Reversing a psychic attack ultimately means returning it back to sender, no matter if this is an actual person it's coming from, if it's an entity, AI, something else. If you've ever thought about doing this, listen up. So as highly aware and awake individuals, we are targeted from the early days on. I know for a fact that a lot of people are even targeted from lifetime to lifetime, and it does not stop with death. So from lifetime to lifetime, meaning the matrix controllers, all these cabal entities, whatever, they actually know exactly who you are. It's just you who keeps forgetting who you are, but we are remembering more and more of that. So when that veil of forgetfulness, or that mind wiping comes in play, that's when we get a glimpse behind, oh, this is who we could have been in a past life, which is more like a parallel life, but it's still a past life because it's not really happening right now. So you do get glimpses of that, but whoever is mind wiping us or mind wiping you in general, they actually know exactly who you were in a past life. And that's also why you're being targeted more and more in this lifetime. So there's a lot that goes into it. But for simplicity purposes, we will stick to this lifetime you're being targeted. Now, not all psychic attacks are conscious. Some are unintentional. And I talk more about the difference between intentional and unintentional psychic attacks. In my psychic protection course, I call them deliberate and not so deliberate. I also talk more about them knowing who you are from lifetime to lifetime in that course. So if you're interested, check it out. Some attacks are full-on intentional and meant to ruin another person. These are deliberate curses, spell work, voodoo certainly falls into this category. Some of these attacks require an intentional ritual and time set aside to send off this attack or witchcraft to the person it was intended. And in this case, we can't argue that the attacker does not know what they're doing, right? They are very well aware that what they're doing is immoral, it's dark, and it's harmful towards the individual they want to see down. And most of the time, they simply don't care about the ethics because they have lived their lives in a highly unethical manner to begin with. And yes, you can read their energy to find this out very clearly. When I tap into the energy of these type of people, I can see, okay, there's a form of infiltration going on. There might even be entity possession. And for sure, there's entity attachment with a lot of these people because a lot of them do call upon entities to guide them or to help them with their spell work, with their curses, with all those things. I'm not saying every single person, but it is something that goes with that industry, the entire witchcraft industry, let's call it that way. And I know some people keep getting upset because I keep saying witches are bad and this and that. I mean, yes, there are different variation of witches, but what I really mean is these like dark intentional type of witches that really work with spell work, or even a form of voodoo. There's a difference between voodoo and magic and all of that. So just want to clarify that as well. But you can definitely read it in their energy, and their energy really speaks for itself. And I usually see it like in a cloud in their auric field, very cloudy, very clouded up, not clear at all. A lot of times these individuals don't even have a soul or that spark anymore, or they sold their soul off many lifetimes ago for fame, for fortune, materialism, which was meant to corrupt the spark they carried. And these type of attacks can't be taken lightly because they are dark in their core and they deserve the utmost protection that you can receive. If someone is vicious enough to send you an attack and it's done in such a way that it actually was meant to ruin you, who you are, your life purpose, your essence, your spark, your soul, wouldn't you want to send this attack straight back to the sender and give them back what is theirs? It's also giving them a taste of their own medicine, so to speak, even though, what they were sending wasn't medicine, but you get what I'm saying. Of course, there are always ethics involved in this too. I, for one, would never send an unintentional attack back to the sender. And I was in a scenario, which I also discussed in the psychic protection course, where I had a friend. My friend was from Benin. So voodoo does originate from West Africa, from Benin, and you can call what he did voodoo because of that. But I was attacked by a friend with voodoo. This is years ago, no worries. And in this particular case, I actually opted for not sending it back to him because at the core, I really believed he was still a decent person. He was just misled in the season of life he was in, let's put it that way. But I mean, needless to say, we're not friends anymore. We're not in touch anymore. However, so in the most recent past, I have dealt with some of the most vicious attacks onto myself, onto my life purpose, and onto who I am, meaning they wanted to really get to my spark, my soul essence, my passion for things I talk about, just the way that I view life, all of that. And this extends beyond the material world, as we know. So anyone who has made it their mission to speak on topics like this or to teach on topics like this, you know what I'm talking about. And kudos for you being in alignment with your soul, if that's the case. And so in these particular instances, which have occurred more and more in the most recent past, I have actually sent the psychic attack back to its rightful sender, and it's had marvelous results. I do have to say this. And once again, these are very dark attacks. These are not attacks that were unintentional. These were very deliberate attacks. And a lot of these instances, there were even animal sacrifices involved. And I know this because I can psychically read on that, psychically tap into that. But these were like very, very dark type of attacks. And then in one instance, I saw results in less than 48 hours with one particular person, where I had even given this person the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, you know what? I'm not sure if it really came from this person or if it's an entity that is disguising themselves as this person, but I'm just going to reverse the attack, send it back to sender. Whoever sent it to me, it will return back to them. That was basically my intention. Within less than 2 days, there was a result that I could not ignore. I'm like, yeah, okay, it came from this person. There's no other way to explain what was happening in their world. And it was just so marvelous to see because they basically had meant to ruin me and to really take everything away from me. Basically the exact outcome that they had wanted for me that basically happened to them. And so that was a great example of just returning it back to sender. What was dangerous about the situation is that, first of all, they worked with animal sacrifices when doing the spell work, and they were also targeting at least 10 more people. Some from their personal life, some who they never met in person, those type of things. So it's not just me, like with that particular tag, it wasn't just me who was targeted, but many other people too. And that's what actually makes it so dangerous, because this is like one of the most vicious scenarios you can ever discover about that person, right? Now, I don't believe in the mainstream or new age definition of karma necessarily, or like the Hindu Buddhism definition of it, but I do believe what goes around comes around, and that what this person had intended for me and others was of such a dark nature, it needed to be stopped. And I also believe in the right things occurring at the right timing, and that I personally had to go through this experience to stop this evil person, for them to not even do more harm onto others. So I do strongly believe, yes, there's a silver lining to everything. I'm not saying I would wish this attack upon anyone, absolutely not. But they were messing with the wrong person very clearly, and they really got a taste of their own medicine. If you see the silver lining of things, it really only takes one strong and aware person to stop a lot of things. In that particular case, it was me. And I do strongly believe it helped the other 10 plus people who were part of this attack as well. Once you do reverse psychic attacks, you will see results in your reality. And that's exactly the reason I started teaching that. So I added a new lesson in my signature psychic protection course, because it can be quite powerful. Nowadays, we're really dealing with so many things already, right? We're really being bombarded with a million things in our life. So first of all, we're having the EMF radiation around us. We have like this entire screen poisoning, the screen addictions, everything, like every single thing in our lives is trying to take us away from the present moment, is trying to siphon us off into this entire AI world, because that's where they want everyone to be. They want everyone energetically cloned, energetically uploaded, and all these clouds and all these realities, ROMs that they have set aside a long time ago already. It's all a continuation from the real Atlantis. I will talk about Atlantis, the real Atlantis, how we're technically still in a future video too. But basically, we're already under so much bombardment and attack of our energetic frequency on an emotional level, which it's all impacting us, right? If it's energetic, it's going to impact us on a physical level, right? That's why a lot of physical diseases manifest in the energetic realm first before they turn into a physical illness or disease. It's impacting us on an emotional level, on a mental level. All these, they're all connected, right? And it's harder and harder to feel balanced and to feel healthy in a world like today because of those reasons, you know, like the entire cell phone radiation towers that they just built up over the past decade, more so the past 5+ years in the era that I am in. But, you know, in Australia, they've existed for so long already. 2013, I think, was the first instance that I came across an article on it. And so there's so much that really goes into it that's really meant to fry our DNA, that's meant to change us on a cellular level, on a physical level, on an energetic level. And in addition to that, in addition to all of that, now you have people who are trying to attack you left and right, and who think it's funny to try to deter you from your actual life purpose and life path, which I don't take that lightly at all. I do want to say that. And also when I see it with others, when I do sessions on others and it happens to them, I have worked on people who had voodoo done to them, all of that. I'm like, yeah, this is very mischievous energy. It's not surprising it's happened, because a lot of characters are, you know, these demonic NPC type, they don't care, you know, there's no morals involved with that. Or like I said, their soul left the body a long time ago, possibly many lifetimes ago, and they're just reincarnating as this empty shell over and over again. So anyhow, reversing a psychic attack is really something that I would recommend having in your repertoire. And if you want to know how to do this, I will put information to the course below. And in general, I would just say, be aware, be wary, and be awake to what's really going on right now. We're in very strange times, very difficult times for some. Like I said, the astral plane has never looked as chaotic as it does now. It always surprises me when I tap into it. Like, you know, back in 2018, when I first started really digging deep into it and really getting more insight on, okay, this is the possible AI agenda they want to build up. Everything's plasticky around us. There's not much natural stuff around us. That was already almost 10 years ago when I got that. Back in 2018, it was still possible to go there and kind of come out unscathed, you know, like, okay, nothing much happened here. But nowadays, you really just have to put up that extra protection, be very aware of all the trickster energy, everything. So that has definitely changed since then. And it is quite concerning to see. And this is what I wanted to share in regards to reversing a psychic attack, which is returning it back to sender, the ethics involved in that, and why you should be doing that. I hope this helps someone